Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so glad you're here today because we're about to go on a really wild ride through the history of global football's ultimate prize. We're going to trace the evolution of the FIFA World Cup, starting all the way back in 1930 with this modest invitation-only tournament, and building all the way up to the sheer unprecedented scale of the 2026 paradigm shift. Whether you're a diehard fan who literally knows every stat, or you're just trying to get your head around how this massive global event is transforming, you are going to love what we dig into today. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's map out our path. We'll start with the origins of the World Cup, look at the eras defined by legends, explore the 2026 paradigm shift, dive into surviving the group stage, and wrap up with the new knockout math.
Section 1. Origins of the World Cup. From modest beginnings to global juggernaut.
You know, it really helps to think of the World Cup as this giant, constantly evolving logistical puzzle. Like, how do you actually represent the entire globe on one fair and highly competitive stage? To see how much this puzzle has changed, just look at the bookends. Back in the inaugural 1930 event down in Uruguay, there wasn't even a qualification phase. It was invite only. You had one host nation, 13 participating teams, and a grand total of just 18 matches. Fast forward to what we're facing in 2026, 3 co-host nations, an incredible 48 teams, and a staggering 104 matches. The absolute leap in scale from that first tournament is just, well, it's mind-blowing.
But getting from point A to point B was a very deliberate chronological expansion. We see that original 13-team setup in 1930, and actually it wasn't until 1982 in Spain that the tournament expanded to 24 teams. Then in 1998 over in France, we entered the 32-team era, which is, the format most of us grew up watching. And now, 2026 breaks the mold all over again by jumping to 48 teams. Every single one of these expansions is a direct reflection of the sport's massive global footprint and the rising quality of national teams everywhere.
Section 2. Eras defined by legends. Pelé, Klose, and Messi.
Rather than just rattling off a bunch of decades, let's anchor this history to 3 legendary avatars. We're going to start with the number 3. This isn't just any random number. 3 represents the all-time record for the most World Cup titles won by a single player. And that player, absolutely no surprise here, is the great Pelé. He lifted the trophy with Brazil in 1958, 1962, and 1970.
But what's truly wild is the context of Pelé's dominance. He made his incredible debut as a 17-year-old sensation. He's literally the youngest winner and youngest final goal scorer ever at just 17 years old and 249 days old. His third victory in 1970 was such a monumental deal that it gave Brazil permanent possession of the original Jules Rimet trophy. The guy essentially owned the early to middle era of the World Cup.
Okay, moving on. Let's pivot to the number 16. I absolutely love this stat. 16 is the all-time record for the most World Cup goals scored by a single player across their entire career. This phenomenal feat belongs to Germany's Miroslav Klose. By surpassing absolute legends like Ronaldo and Gerd Müller, Klose's 16 goals over 4 different tournaments is just the ultimate standard for striking consistency on the world stage.
So how does this build into the modern era? Well, let's look at the number 26. This number is all about longevity, endurance, and sustained brilliance. 26 is the record for the most World Cup matches ever played by one individual. Yep, Lionel Messi.
And Messi didn't just participate. He basically defined the climax of the 32-team era. He capped the whole thing off with Argentina's incredibly dramatic 2022 victory in Qatar. Doing that, he became the oldest goal scorer in a victorious final at 35 years and 177 days. His triumph was honestly like a movie, the perfect cinematic conclusion to the 32-team format, officially closing that chapter of history and perfectly setting the stage for a completely new paradigm.
Section 3. The 2026 Paradigm Shift, a North American Spectacle.
So think about this for a second. How does a massive 48-team tournament actually work? When you inject 16 brand new teams into a highly tuned global event, literally everything, the logistics, the scheduling, the competitive balance, it all has to be completely re-engineered. Let's break down the math.
The math is honestly staggering when you compare 2022 to 2026. We are jumping from 32 teams up to 48. The number of groups expands from 8 to 12. But the craziest leap is that final column, total matches. We are going from 64 matches all the way up to 104 total matches, and that is all packed into a 39-day window. It's an unbelievable influx of football.
And to handle 104 matches, you need immense infrastructure.
That's exactly why 2026 is going to feature joint hosts, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. These games are going to be spread out across 16 different host cities and venues throughout these 3 North American nations. It is a continent-wide celebration of the sport.
Section 4. Surviving the Group Stage, the new gauntlet.
Let's look at the actual mechanics of the 2026 group stage. The 48 teams are sorted into 12 groups of 4. Now, just like in the past, each team plays 3 group opponents in a round-robin format, but the sheer volume is what changes everything. There will be 72 total group stage matches. Let that sink in for a second. 72 matches played in the group stage alone. That's literally more matches than the entire 2022 tournament in its entirety.
Section 5. The new knockout math, introducing the round of 32.
So the crucial point here is how this new best third place metric actually works to fill out the knockout rounds. First, the top 2 teams from all 12 groups automatically advance. That gives us 24 teams. But to fill out the newly expanded 32-team bracket, the remaining 8 spots are awarded to the third-place teams with the best records. Once those lucky 8 survive, the round of 32 is locked in, and from there, boom, it's single elimination football all the way to the end.
Because of this extra round of 32, the physical toll is hitting a brand new high. For the first time ever in World Cup history, the 2 finalists have to survive an 8-match path to reach the ultimate prize. Traditionally, it took 7 games to win it all. Now, champions have to survive 8 direct elimination fixtures, wrapping up on July 19, 2026.
Which leaves us with this one final provocative thought. We are looking down the barrel of a tournament with 104 matches, 48 highly ambitious nations, and a grueling 8-match path to glory. The level of endurance, strategy, and just sheer willpower required has literally never been higher. So who do you think is going to rise to the occasion and conquer the largest gauntlet in football history? It is going to be an absolutely thrilling summer in 2026, and I, for sure, cannot wait to watch history unfold. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.